The Forum at 8 with Xolani Gwala.
It is 11 minutes after 8. A very good morning indeed, and a warm welcome to the Forum at 8 here on SAFM, South Africa's news and information leader. Well, the games are about to get underway in just about 14 days' time. And last night, President Jacob Zuma was hosting the teams, the Olympic and Paralympic athletes who will be representing South Africa in the London Olympics in 14 days' time. He gave the team a final send-off, but also he said that the country has great expectations of the team at the games. And time for us then to talk to some of the members of the team, also just find out what their personal expectations are. And we'll be taking your calls a little later on 0891 104 208, 0891 104 208. We'll find your expectations to the team, but also just give them your send-off, I suppose, messages, good wishes for the team as it prepares to embark on this important journey. Let me welcome my guest on the program at this time. I'm going to start with the Director General in the Department of Sports and Recreation, Alec Mwemi. A very good morning to you, sir. I thank you for your time.
Good morning, Colin, and good morning to the listeners of SAFM.
Thanks indeed. Joining us here in our studios, Samgelo Hatebe. He's a member of the Paralympic team. Samgelo, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm very well. How are you, most importantly?
Super sweet.
That's good. That's very good. And we'll talk about how and why are you so super sweet. Andrea Dale Ave is also an athlete here. Is long jump, 100 meters, 200 meters. Is that what it is, Andrea?
Yeah, that's perfect. I'm glad you got the pronunciation right.
Yeah, because it's Italian, right?
Yeah. The surname and name's Italian.
That's very interesting. Andrea Pirlo. I like that guy. He played very well in the. Were you watching it?
I was hoping Euro Italy would go through there, but Spain
they did much better than what. Yeah, they did much better than what we expected.
Yeah,
not a lot of people gave them a chance.
Yeah, no, definitely not even to the playoff stages, but they got there. So
it's interesting we talk about chances. I'm just wondering what your view about our chance, both Paralympic team and the Olympics team. What do you think about our chances?
Well, let's start with the Paralympic team.
Mm-hmm.
There is very, very high hopes with us. They've tipped us to be the best Paralympic team ever put together. And we're hoping to bring home within the 30s. That's our medal count. Most of them gold. We're hoping in the 20s for gold medals. And we'll probably bring home about another 10 bronze, silvers. So I'm hoping to contribute to some of those medals.
How many do you hope to contribute?
Definitely gold in my long jump, and then hopefully I can pull through in my 100s and 200s and maybe medal on that as well. But I'm 19 years old at the moment, so that's just a great experience.
This is just the beginning for you. You know what's interesting though, Samgelo, is the expectation and the pressure that it puts on you as an athlete. Are you under pressure to deliver then?
I have to say it is a lot of pressure. I mean, it's almost like when it's the Paralympics, definitely we know that you guys bring medals, but it's not that easy. They make it sound easy, like the Paralympians always bring medals. It is a lot of hard work. It is a lot of pressure that we put under. And I mean, once we're there, it's just one of those things where you have to leave everything behind and focus on what you have to do and give it your best to make sure that you deliver, and when we do deliver, it's not just, we knew you were going to bring back a medal, but a lot of hard work went behind that. And eventually when a medal does come, it's really worth it that, you brought gold home, and it is a lot of pressure.
Talk a little bit about this hard work that goes into it. What have you done and gone through in terms of preparations?
Okay, well, firstly, I'm a fourth year law student at the moment, and there's that which I need to focus on, and then there's the athletic side of things. So it's just hard work on its own to try and balance the two, you know what I mean? And
100 meters.
And I also do 200s as well, but I'm just focusing mainly on the 100s and the 4x100 meter relay. But like the preparation that goes into that, it means that at times I have to miss classes to make sure that I accommodate athletics. I have to miss some tests and do like sick tests or oral tests, and so it's hard work at school, it's hard work at the track and at the gym, you know what I mean? And as a double amputee athlete, for most things that we do, we always have to try and adapt to certain things. So my work in the gym is not always the same as Andreas, for instance, who's got hands. So we need to try and work around how are we going to make it more efficient for me to work in the gym. So that takes creativity, that takes hard work, you know what I mean? Same thing at the track. I've got like special starting blocks where I can balance my arms on that, you know. it's creativity, but I need to work hard on that to make sure that it is as good as that of a normal athlete. You know what I mean? So
But let's talk a little bit about that. Do you find that there are 2-3 strikes against you because you've got to overcome so much more than other athletes?
totally. That's how it is. I mean, at some point last year, we tried getting me prosthetic arms, so we can try and compensate for what I've lost, because I don't have like a running stride that is as good as that of an able-bodied athlete. So we got running prosthetics to try and compensate for that. We tried it, but they said it's not enough time for me to get used to them. I need at least 3 years. So we're like, okay, Paralympics is next year, so no, let's put that down. You know what I mean? That's something that an able-bodied athlete doesn't have to go through. They sort of have hands and just have to run. You know what I mean? And they said you've been without your hands for like 15 years. If you're going to introduce something that is like hands to your body, at least give yourself like 3 years. You know what I mean? So that's a challenge that I had to face. But we had to let go of the arms and then continue working without the hands. So it is a disadvantage, but we're working on that.
Yeah. You talk about 15 years without your arms. What happened to your arms?
I was electrocuted when I was 9 years old, playing with my friends. Electric wires. I think that I'm the man because I was electrocuted by 11,000 volts of electricity. That's enough to supply 44 homes, and I was able to take all of that electricity through my body when I was 9 years old. So I think I'm the man.
You must be the man.
I'm the man.
But to what extent does that drive you? Is that the reason why sometimes you push a little harder than the able-bodied athlete?
I have to, because firstly, I need to find out why exactly did I lose my hands. I always sort of, when you talk to God, He doesn't really answer you like your PBM friend would. You know what I mean? So I was like, why did I lose my hands? Why did I survive something so severe? So I've gone on to give everything that I do, or, I just give my best, everything that I do to try and find out, is this what I was meant to do? Is this what I was meant to do? So I've gone on to do athletics. I'm doing a law degree. I've climbed and summited Kilimanjaro. I've done so many things. I'm still not sure why I've lost my hands, but I can tell you I'm having fun in the process of trying to find out what happened. I don't even think I care anymore why I lost my hands, because my life is so awesome without hands.
I'm wondering, Andrea, is that the drive for you as well? Do you ask yourself questions?
Yeah, my disability happened when I was at birth. It was a congenital reason. I had a stroke when I was born, and I actually died for 30 seconds. I like telling people that I actually saw the gates of heaven. It's
so
really
cool.
funny.
Oh, you've been there?
Awesome. Yeah, I've been there and back, and it's awesome. But yeah, when I was born, doctors didn't give me much hope. They told my parents that I'd be in a wheelchair, I wouldn't be able to talk, and I'll be in nappies my whole life. And they should start looking for homes to put me in. But my parents, my mom, Izan, and my dad, Marco, they never took that advice. They just always mainstream me. I went to normal mainstream nursery school. Then I went off to Trinity House Preparatory School, and then high school I went to St. Stithians College. So I've got a good background behind me in education as well. And that went in far because I could understand my limits too. And, you see, like, it is really hard at times. It really is. But you have to get over it, and we do. Sam and I, we've been through a lot together, and it just comes off. Now we can see we've made the team. We finally made it, but we pushed through. There's definitely hard times, but you always get over it. It's just something that you have to live with and adapt with. But we all used to it, and I thank God that He's actually made me disabled. I'm actually part of the BEE. Do you know that I can get a job much easier?
But seriously, I mean, you talk about making the team, for instance, and clearly there are others who didn't make the team, yet very competitive. What happens to those?
I actually noticed how well we did the first time in Durban when we were at the closing ceremony, and I sat there and I looked around, and there was over 1,000 athletes trying to survive 25 spots to make it to the Paralympics, and Sam and I and 23 other athletes have finally gone through. The others just need to work hard. There's still things to come. World champs next year in France. You never give up. You didn't make the team now, but there's still much more to come. We're just very privileged that we could make it right now.
And if you were to advise anybody out there and tell them about why you made it,
just dedication to athletics. You can't do it half-heartedly. If you want to make the team, obviously there's have to be a bit of natural talent in there and all that. But natural talent can only take you so far. You really have to put your head down and say to yourself, okay, I really want to go to London. I really want to go to France next year. And then you have to put the hard work in. Like Sam and I, some days we train twice a day, every day of the week. It's gym in the mornings, track in the afternoon, and then I got long jump on Tuesdays and Thursdays with my coach, and track on Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, gym every morning. So dedication is the main thing to get there, and if you're not dedicated, you're not going to make it.
This is big stuff. This is a big stage.
Big.
Stage
the biggest.
dreams are made of.
Yeah. And I must add there, like, you also need a very, very good support structure. So your family is
true.
very much needed. You need, good, very sports science, a structure that is very good in sports science as well. And we have that at the University of Johannesburg, you know what I mean? It's a lot of things put together just for one person to go that far,
So do you sit there and picture yourself at the podium there receiving
Every
gold?
time. I even picture the race when I'm running. You know what I mean? Sometimes when we're training at the
practices,
track, we're standing at the 100-meter mark, and it's like, yeah, dude, this is the moment. And then we start greeting people, yeah, hi. And then we go, you just picture yourself, you just see yourself running through the whole 100 meters, finishing, winning, podium, celebration. It's, it's things that we have to dream while we're still here.
And take
You know
the
what I
pain,
mean?
because it's not easy. It's painful. Exercising is not easy. I try sometimes.
It's not. I've been suffering for the last couple of weeks because I've got like flu, you know what I mean? But I'm always advised not to take flu medication. It's not good for your heart. You can't train with, but I have to train. I can't just sit, and I've been suffering. So training has been even more painful because of that, you know what I mean? But it is a lot of hard work. Like how ladies always say, no pain, no gain.
Yeah.
Same thing here. No pain, no gain. You can't just go and have a nice session at the track. You wasted your time.
Talking about ladies, do they also drive you perhaps? I mean, as a, what happens after?
I've got a lady in my life, and
okay.
she's fully behind me. And I must tell you, with sometimes all the
That's what they
interviews
say.
on
behind
TV,
every successful man is a lady. Right?
you know what I mean? With all the interviews and stuff, there's always, other ladies that come in the way. And it's also hard work to try and keep focus on just one thing.
Let's bring in the administrators. Let's bring in the DG now. We've heard the stories of the athletes, Mr. Moemi. Part of the issue and part of the thing that they raise, of course, is support. And it's pretty important that your department in particular fully supports our athletes.
No, certainly, Kolani. The department has learned a lot of lessons since the Beijing Olympics, where we got just one medal in the Olympics. But our Paralympic team still in Beijing did quite very well. And we decided on a series of steps that we needed to put in place to ensure that we can support the teams to succeed quite well. Since then, we have heightened the qualification requirements, making it not so easy for athletes to really qualify. So our athletes are among the ones that qualify quite with great difficulty than most countries. That would stand us in a good stead when we get to the Olympics in London. And the type of support we give, we had decided since Beijing that we are going to give what we call wall-to-wall services to Olympians. And these services ranges from the personal support the athletes require, the scientific support that we have to tailor-make in terms of a program adjusted to each and every needs of each and every promising athlete. SASCOC itself had put in place what is called operational excellence. This looks at a specific cream of athletes that are promising and that have potential, and they are meeting the required timeframes and qualification requirements. And we look at the previous Olympics and we look at what we have been able to achieve, and we compare that with what other countries and the best Olympians in the world are doing.
Talking about comparing with other countries, ultimately it comes down to the resources. It comes down to the money that you are willing to put in there so that our athletes get all the kind of assistance that they need. Have you put in enough money?
We think this year we have quite put a lot. I think we insisted that the National Lotteries invests its money correctly. And I think up to now, for the last 4 years, the National Lottery has put about 167 million rands in preparation of both the Olympic and the Paralympic team. We too, annually, we have been putting in excess of about 5 million rands. And this year, being the Olympic year, we also, to assist teams and also athletes qualify, we have put in excess of 37 million of our own resources as the department. So we are quite committed, and we have been insisting, and our minister has been all over trying to encourage business to also put in resources into the Olympic team. But resources alone are not enough to ensure victory. I think what we have heard from the two athletes, Andrea and Samkelo, is quite precise. It has to do with the athlete. Even talent alone without dedication and commitment just doesn't work. And all we can do as a department is to ensure that we have the great support systems in place to support our athletes. We've got world-class technology and scientific support at their disposal. And we also support most athletes with allowances to ensure that their nutrition and everything is up to scratch and can match their training needs and access to facilities.
Sure.
And some we also put them on a residential program, like Caster Semenya is now on a residential program to help her go through her studies as well as be able to train.
All right. What we'll also do is to open the lines here on 0891 104 208. Hear what people have got to say to our Olympians. 0891 104 208. I'll be taking SMSs as well at 34701. 0891 104 208. You can also send me an email this morning at gwalax@sabc.co.za. gwalax@sabc.co.za. Just some SMSs already that are here. Somebody says, you are healing others by your attitude and your light and sharing. That's one of your purposes in life. Thanks. Another one says, just presenting us or just representing us is enough. Let's not put pressure on them. We believe in you. Somebody says, I can't believe why the Tsolegile this way. We Africans do stuff now. These people are with us to talk about our patriotism. Tsolegile, I suppose this has got to do with cricket. I'm not sure if the DG has anything to say about this, because he's joined the team in England, hasn't he? Tsolegile.
Of course, yes.
Yeah, I'm not sure about this one. But you see, there's a very interesting one that says no need to put pressure on athletes. Do you think that by suggesting that perhaps you want 12 medals, I'm not talking about Paralympics in particular, but 12 medals this year, is that putting pressure on the athletes? Not
necessarily, but sometimes pressure is also helpful for athletes because in their own nature, the Olympics are a pressure cooker. If you can't stand the heat, you get out of the kitchen, so they say. But it is not undue pressure. I think it is to say to them, and this is the message the president gave yesterday, to say, believe in yourself, and confidence is a key.
But is it a realistic target, moving from 1 in 2008 to 12?
Well, of course. I think what we have done since Beijing and up until now says to us that it is quite achievable and it is quite reasonable. In fact, the athletes themselves believe that it is an achievable target because they qualified the most difficult of all their competitors. And if you have looked at the various international tournaments and competitions and championships our athletes have been participating in, and you see the times they've been clocking and the performances they've been putting, you can guarantee that they are going to be quite highly competitive at the Olympics. For starters, look at our swimming times, look at the quality of our swimmers, and look at the investment we have put in the swimmers, and look at sports that we have traditionally as a country dominated in: archery, shooting, so on, canoeing. We stand a great deal of a chance. Even on the field and track, we are most likely going to clock some medals there.
Well, we'll see then. We'll be taking calls 0891 104 208, but because it is 8:30 now, we need to go back to the newsroom, get your updates in as far as news is concerned, but also we'll talk to Rob Byrne, find out what's going on in traffic, and then open the lines. 0891 104 208.
The Forum at 8 with Xolani Gwala.
25 minutes now before 9, and we continue our chat here in the studio talking about our Olympics team and Paralympics team. They are getting ready to go to London. Of course, the games kick off on the 27th of this month. That's in about 14 days' time. Would like to hear your thoughts then. Wish them well if you want to, but also if there are questions perhaps that you'd like to pose. We are available for you 0891 104 208, 0891 104 208. Also, I'll take SMSs 34701. Emails, gwalax@sabc.co.za. 1 or 2 emails already here. I'll read them for you in a minute. But let me just tell you as well that between 9 and 12, as always, here on SAFM, Morning Talk today presented by Isaac Patla. Remember, Siggy is still away. Isaac Patla coming through between 9 and 12 here on SAFM. Right then, let me read 1 or 2 perhaps emails and SMSs, then get my guests to respond and take your calls. There's Opa Tsasanyane in Sebokeng who says, although one tries hard to be patriotic towards our team and the country on the sporting front, but the issue of transformation and equitable sharing of resources leaves much to be desired. Our sporting federations are the ones to be blamed for constant failures of our teams or athletes to shine, as we always send halfly baked teams to compete. That's Opa Tsasanyane in Sebokeng. Samgelo? Do you agree?
I can sort of agree and disagree. Okay, firstly, I agree on the part of, okay, not entirely halfly baked, but I mean, for instance, with us now, we're getting a lot of support now to prepare for, just the last sort of 6 weeks or so. Now we're getting the financial support to prepare for that. You know what I mean? So maybe if you say halfly baked,
not enough support.
The support sort of comes once you're in the team. You know what I mean? So only when they announced the team, then we started receiving the necessary financial support. Before that, everything is sort of up to you and whoever is meant to support you financially. Whereas I suppose if you got the financial support all the way when they identified you, so they say, in the next 2 years, we expect you to at least get a medal in your event at Olympics or Paralympics, then they support you financially. Then I suppose, according to him,
that's
you
a very
would
important
be
point.
Fully baked.
That's a very important point. But let me hear, Andrea, do you agree that perhaps support only comes towards the end?
Yeah, well, it's different for different athletes because Sab and I, we aren't on a support system at the moment, but there are Operation Excellence athletes based around Stellenbosch and all the other provinces that have been receiving funds throughout many years. Yeah. It's just Sam and I haven't been put on any programs yet or anything like that. But hopefully a good performance at Paralympics now will put us on these financial to get us the funds throughout the years.
Just perhaps to support the point, and DG, you're going to have to respond to this one because it is straight talking. Somebody says the DG is talking nonsense. There may be a handful of athletes that receive support, but some have received nothing. I would like specifics. How much per code? This is the issue.
No, certainly. I think to start with, we must indicate that the pie is not that much. Our country is a developing country and has competing priorities. Sports is a priority, and we are setting the agenda for sport. Prior to us having the sports in November last year, the country did not have a sports plan. Now we do, and now there is absolutely no reason why the state and government cannot put resources to adequately run the sports program.
But sorry to interrupt, because again, I think we're going back to the point that we made a little earlier on. If we only support our athletes towards the end, how then do we put pressure on them, so much pressure on them to deliver? Because in all fairness, it is unfair.
Well, let me give the example of Andrea and Samkel. These are first-timers, and they have now qualified. In most likelihood, SASCOC now is going to place them on the Operation Excellence program. But you see, it will not be possible for the country to put everybody on a continuous support program. We have to take the promising athletes. Yes, it is true. In the past, we have tried all the 87 affiliates of SASCOC to try and put money in either of them, but it has not been quite impactful because we were not prioritizing. Now we have prioritized 16 sporting codes within which we are saying that in these codes where we are the most strongest in terms of the sports plan.
Because the issue, though, if you say promising athletes, at what point do you call them promising? After they've qualified, or do you call them promising at grassroots level? Well, because I suppose that's when you identify them and say, that's a promising one, let's invest in this athlete, as opposed to waiting until you say you're part of the team, then we'll start supporting you?
No, I think it's two ways. Athletes like Samkelo and Andrea, they would know that they belong to the South African Federation for Persons with Disabilities. And this federation organizes championships. We fund the federation. We give the federation money to run the championships, to give them the opportunity to participate and so on. But that doesn't substitute what an athlete must also do on their own. Athletes still are expected to train on their own, practice and so on. And when there is a talent identification program or there is a championship at which they are supposed to participate, they need to go and qualify. So athletes that come closer, even if you are not at the qualification times, but if you come closer to the qualification times, you are given an opportunity to participate. And once you participate and the funding is given and we see that you are talented, only then you are placed on a program. I think...
but I guess there will be questions, and I'll take some more calls, by the way, 0891104228. There will be questions about the efficiency of the program given the socioeconomic dynamics in this country. There are serious socioeconomic dynamics. So you can expect me to train on my own, to have facilities on my own, but perhaps Samkelo doesn't have access to that because he lives in a rural area of Mbendle. I live, I don't know, Mbali, Maritzburg or somewhere. So how do you make sure that the playing fields are level?
We had decided at the Indaba with all stakeholders of sport that what we have been doing in the past of throwing money there and in little pockets is not that very useful. And we have decided to go back to the basics and to say that we have to invest more money in school sport. School sport remains our bedrock of participation. Right now in our country, it is actually illegal for a child of school-going age not to be in school. So all children have to be in school. And when they are in school, with the school sport program we are rolling out and the departmental leagues that will be happening right across, we are targeting all the 27,000 public schools to be in the school sports league. Right now, about 10,300 schools have registered right across the country for participation in these leagues. And these 16 priority codes I've spoken to you about are what is being rolled out. This will now level the playing fields. The minister has spoken about Vision 2032. We are looking at a 20-year period. We are not looking at a shortcut. I'm sure you know the shortcut arrangements have not really yielded any fruits for our country.
Which is why some people doubt that there will be a much difference between 2008 and 2012.
Not really.
Anyway, we'll take some calls, 0891104208. Some SMSs. Somebody says, all the best. I'm proud of you, Mashaule. And there's also an SMS that says, truly inspiring stuff, guys. I know you will do us proud. All the best in London. That's Zeni, who sent us that SMS. Let's go to Del in Joburg. Good morning, Del.
Hi, Kalani, the Olympians and the listeners.
Hi.
I just want to raise two issues. The first thing, to wish the guys all the best and say we will be behind them, and we know they will do it for the country. The second issue I wanted to raise, the concern that I had, there are two issues regarding the two athletes. One of them, I think the weightlifter, who was left behind because I'm told from the information we got from the media, he's currently the best, but the committee decided that they would rather look at the future. The guy was probably not going to be able to attend the 2016 or so, the Olympics. So they took the second best from what we got. And the other gentleman, I think, who apparently won the Continental Championship in athletics, but a motivation was done for the other guy who had won one international event. I think the comments that I got on the radio at one stage was that the lady said, look, you need to have 2 or 3 AAA ratings or something like that. But both of them didn't have, which I felt it would have been good to have motivated for both athletes. Okay. Unfortunately, motivation was sent for one athlete as far as I got the information, which is unfortunate. Yeah. But otherwise, all the best to the guys.
Okay, Del, thank you very much. Mr. DJ, yes, there was controversy about the selection.
No, certainly. I think the selection procedure of SASCOC has been approved and signed for, and all federations have bought into this. Athletes are familiar with the qualification requirements.
But are they? I mean, some took SASCOC to court. Are they familiar?
Certainly, they should be familiar. All athletes know that they sign agreements with SASCOC, and if you are participating, you sign with your federation and ultimately with SASCOC. The truth of the matter is that, let's take the example of the weightlifter, Greg Shushu.
Yeah.
He was unsatisfied in terms of the procedure he had to apply to his federation. The weightlifting federation itself confirmed SASCOC's findings that he did not qualify. He was still unhappy, and he wanted to enlist the international federation, and when that did not go well, then ultimately went to court. And at court, the court considered the issues before it. It looked at the qualification criterion in 3 parts, the different ways in which an athlete can qualify, and realized that Greg Shushu had not really made the qualification, and confirmed SASCOC's findings, and the case was dismissed with costs. Now it is unfortunate that the athlete has to pay his own legal costs as well as the costs of SASCOC, but in truth he had not qualified. He had not met the strict requirements for qualification.
Okay, let's get more thoughts then. 0891104228. A couple of emails. Ketsi Etuwa says, all the best, Team SA. We will rally behind you until the last day. Go and make us proud. God bless you guys. That's an email and that came through from Etuwa. And there's also another email that came through just a short while ago from Nelspruit, from Po Ralukake, who says, please make us proud and bring us gold. All the best and God bless you. I'll take more emails. gwalax@sabc.co.za. Zion is in King Williamstown. Hello, Zion.
Hello, Mr. Gwala.
Hello.
I want to ask the guys the same question I've been asking since the South Africans admission in the Olympic Games and the Paralympic Games. I think their first participation was in 1996. I've been asking on the radio, on Flower and radio stations, why do our Paralympians always do better and bring more medals than our Olympians? And I never got a clear answer. Maybe now from the horse's mouth I can get a clear answer. Why is that?
All right, Zion, thank you very much. Yes, I'm good.
I think I'll try and take that question.
Yeah.
In terms of Olympics, the sporting codes, all the sporting codes, they are fully developed. You know what I mean? So they've all reached a point where improvement really is difficult. You know, you need one special person to sort of take the standards much higher, like the likes of Usain Bolt. Whereas with disability sports, it's more in the process of development. You know, we're still trying to get to that stage where the Olympics are at. So as South Africa, we do actually do quite well because we're still developing along with the rest of the world. We're not left behind by the rest of the world. You know, in terms of facilities and whatnot, we're all trying to find the best way of compensating for the disabilities. We're all doing that at the same time. So we're more or less at the same standard. Unlike the Olympics and the Paralympics, the rest of the world is way up there in terms of, you know, technology, sports science, and, you know, funding their athletes. And South Africa, as a developing country, we're still getting there. You know what I mean? I don't know if that sort of answers the question.
I also think that South Africa is in an unlucky time for the Olympics in general. Because at the moment, if you look at it, track events dominated by Jamaica, throw in a few Americans there. When you get around to the 800 meters and above, the Kenyans start dominating. They just got ideal conditions for training. If you take Kenya, for example, they train in humidity, they train in like thin air. And when they come to London, where the air is so thick, they can run, they will win everything. You throw in a bit of Ethiopians as well. I just think that it's a very, very hard time for South Africa to try and medal in the midst of all these great athletes around us. If you look at standards at the moment, we've never seen the likes of Usain Bolt. We've never seen the likes of certain athletes that are at the day like unbeatable in history. There's been world records broken left, right and center. So at the moment, at the Olympics, it's very dominating there.
It's a very important point, an interesting point you're raising about the conditions where people train. I suspect things like altitude and so on, because there was a question raised a while ago, maybe a year even ago, about why is it that South African golfers do well internationally, and the answer was that, for instance, the climate in South Africa makes it easy for golfers to train. We have nice facilities. So does the same apply for athletics?
Definitely, you can look at around our country. We have all different conditions. If you come up to the Highveld, we have the thin air.
Yeah.
If you go down to Stellenbosch, down to Durban, you have the thick air. We have lots of in European off seasons. We have all the Europeans coming down to Stellenbosch, coming down to the Highveld to come train in our conditions. I must say we do have some of the best conditions to train in. So maybe, I don't know.
But why are some of our athletes abroad at the moment, Mr. DG?
Well, of course, the conditions must be compared also with the availability of facilities. It's not just about facilities. It's also about the scientific support, but additionally, it is
I thought we're pretty good there.
We are, but I don't think all our universities and our sports science institutes combined would have sufficient capacity to cover for all athletes. It is not possible. And also the absence of some coaches and some new techniques is a key issue. So, for instance, it depends where you are going to play next. And then you may want to leave South African shores and be acclimatized to where you are going to play. The other is also to be among competitive teams, for instance, to be able to play around in the leagues. Take, for instance, football, say Banyana. You now have to put them in camp in Germany, ensure that they play German women's teams because they are quite strong. And you make them play against the Netherlands and so on. But if they do not camp in Europe, it becomes expensive, even if the conditions are right in South Africa.
Okay. Let me read this email, which came through, I'll tell you now, Malifane Tabo. Says, I got disinterested last time SA Olympians were made to shine by Khotso Mokoena, who brought us a mere silver, but our Paralympians brought us a handful of medals. All over the media, Olympians were given the spotlight, but Paralympians, almost no coverage. Over the years, people with disabilities have to prove themselves, but they almost always get a raw deal. What makes SASCOC commits 400,000 rand to the winning Olympian, but only 100,000 rand to Paralympians? I'd appreciate to hear from your guests there. Let me start with you, Samgel.
The reasons were explained, why there's 400,000 for an able-bodied athlete and why there's 100,000 for, a disabled athlete. We understand the reason, but personally, I still feel that...
What were the reasons? What did they say to you?
Okay, with Olympics, take, for instance, the 100 meters for men and women. There's only one medal for all men. In the 100 meters, there's only one gold medal. And in the 100 meters for women, there's only one gold medal. Whereas with disabled athletes, there's all sorts of different classes. So I'm, for instance, in the double-hand amputee class. Andrea is in the cerebral palsy class. So all men with different disabilities will each have a medal in their own class to compete for. You know what I mean? So I think that's why it's less. But however, I do think that the margin is just too wide. It's a difference of 300,000. I mean, we were happy at first, but when we looked at it, we're like, okay, so if a person from Olympics gets gold, it's 400,000. Their coach gets 100,000. And that is what we're going to get if we get gold. You know what I mean? So it's a bit like, okay, maybe if it could at least be 200,000, I can't be standing there next to a coach. It's like, I'm a coach. I got 100,000. What did you get? I got gold and 100,000. It's like, oh, shame.
Andrea?
Yeah, I'm actually going to have to agree there with Sam. I'm happy, don't get me wrong, that the 100,000 is great. It's a great incentive that we all going to run for. But we also, Sam and I, afterwards, we looked at it and the margin we thought was a little bit too much. We're not saying that we deserve more, but we're saying that when we looked at it, the thing that annoyed us the most is that Olympians' coach will be earning the same as if we bring a gold medal home, which we thought was a bit. But yeah.
Let me ask the DG to respond to that. But before you do, here's another question for you. It comes from Tumelo, I think, Tumelo Mate, who says, please ask the DG, which are the priority sporting codes that he's talking about? I play volleyball at professional level, but the support that the sport has received in this country, despite having good players, have not qualified for the Olympics or other world games. Otherwise, I wish the Olympians and Paralympians all the best in London. That's a question there for the DG. But there's another one. It's a very long email. After the National Sport and Recreation Indaba last year that adopted the National Sports and Recreation Plan, there was hope from us that the Indaba was a success and not just rhetoric. It seems to me now that the process has headed that way. There is no cordial relationship between RSSA, which is Sports and Recreation South Africa, as well as SASCOC. When it comes to implementation, the DG has his own ideas, and so is Gideon Sam and his board. A classical example is school sport, where Minister Mbalula has seriously promised to deliver change. This change will never come because to this day, school sport hasn't started in provinces. The difference between SASCOC and SRSA in terms of implementation is serious. SRSA wants to do this alone without federations, and yet they don't have the capacity. Now, SRSA want to run the academies and high performances when Indaba resolved on whose responsibility this is. The DG must never lie to the nation about funding. They ring-fence the money and create programs that are not working. For instance, Siadlala, hubs, club development, and indigenous games. All of these programs will never get us medals. They must give federations money. Ooh.
Well,
it's getting hot out in the kitchen.
No, well, it's unfortunate because I don't think that there is a semblance of truth in what is being said. We give federations 25% of all our entire budget. 50% of our entire budget goes to provinces, the provincial departments of sport. And indeed, we have ring-fenced money for several things, including Siadlala. Mass participation, we are not just the Department of Sport. We are the Department of Sport and Recreation. Recreation is also an important aspect. Our mission as a department is not only to have a winning nation, meaning the medals. It's also about an active, healthy nation. So we have to provide platforms on which mass participation programs can occur. Not everybody wants to play football to represent South Africa abroad. Some want to play it just recreationally. Some are playing it competitively. And for those who do, we have to support SASFA and SAFA in this regard. But for those who want to play recreationally, there has to be recreation programs.
But it seems here, the suggestion is that there is tension between your department and SASCOC.
Well, that's not true. I mean, if that was true, I'm sure the media would have already heard. We seek not to contest the resolutions of the Indaba. We are the ones reinforcing those resolutions. Indeed, it is the responsibility of SASCOC to do academies, and we have now yielded the scientific support program to this. It is not true that we are not working with federations. The 16 federations I'm speaking about are part of our school sports program. We have been consulting with them ever since the school sports program has begun. And it is not true that it has not started in codes such as netball. Already they are at the provincials. So it doesn't make sense to say that it has not started when they're already at the provincial tournaments.
All right. We need to wrap up here. I'm out of time. But I think my sense is that there needs to be a discussion that we need to have after the Olympic Games. After the 15th of August, we need to come back because most of the emails and SMSs are suggesting that people are not getting the financial assistance that they need. They're not getting the support that they need from the department or whoever holds the purse.
The purse is only 850 million a year, and I'm saying of that 50% goes to provinces, about 400 million. 25% of that, being about a further 200 million, goes to federations. We as a department remain with only 200 million to do everything, to pay.
Sure. So, well, you may be doing your bit as the department to disperse the money, but does the money get to the athletes? Is what I think that's the question that is being asked.
Well, you see, the issue is that once we give federations money, there is a grant framework within which we regulate what federations must do with money. And each federation thereafter is obligated to report both to SASCOC and also back to us.
All right, I need to talk to the two athletes here with me, Samgelo and Andrea. I hope you do well, and I hope when you come back, you will talk to me about your exploits and how you performed over there.
Thank you. I have a special request. Can I just quickly say that? The
one
we're talking about off air. Can you please just just please try and make your point and make sure that it is okay for big companies to sponsor individual athletes.
Okay, that's a request to the DG.
Yes, please just do something about that, you know, as a tax incentive maybe to them.
Okay. All right, fine. You know what? We'll discuss that as well, about the role of private sector in ensuring that we develop our sports as well, because I suspect that perhaps they have a much bigger role. They have money. They are the ones who can make a difference here. I wish you well as well, Andrea. All the best.
Thank you so much. I'm hoping to bring some medals home for South Africa.
Oh, man,
Make
we'll be
everyone
waiting.
happy.
We'll be waiting at the airport for you,
Thank you.
young man. We'll certainly be waiting. DG, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Colin, and thanks to the athletes and to the listeners.
Thank you very much. I would also like to thank the team who put it all together for this day. Our producers, Mabo Buluga, Misho Shandlale, and Colin Lemawane. Technical producer today, Mark Prella. Forum at 8, producer Jake Mugoma. Senior producers, Chilidi Tibase and Lungile Mabaso. Executive producers, Bosi Chane and Obrisi Chia. My name is Xolani Gwala. I'll be back again on Monday then for you, 6 to 9 here on SAFM. For now, though, wishing you a great weekend. And Isaac Patla on the radio between 9 and 12. Cheers from us. 12 cheers from us. 12 cheers from us. 12 cheers from us. 12 cheers from us.